You know, let's start with an idea that sits right on that weird, blurry line between science and philosophy. It's that moment when a scientist realizes that knowing every single fact about something, well, that doesn't mean you actually understand what it all means.
So, today, we're going to dive into a story about a message. But this isn't just a message that travels across space. It travels across an almost unthinkable stretch of time. It's really a story about what it means to truly listen and what it feels like to finally be heard.
All right, so our story really kicks off with a scientist, Yeva Salisch, and after a decade of pretty much routine work, she stumbles onto two things that are just completely impossible, and she finds them on the exact same day. It's the kind of thing that makes the hair on your arm stand up. The universe just decided to stop whispering and start shouting.
So, get this. On one hand, you've got a signal, and it's coming from a patch of what should be totally empty space. It's not just random noise, and this is the crucial part. It's not repeating. It's actually evolving, getting more and more complex. It's behaving less like a star or a pulsar and more like a mind. And then, at the very same time, deep inside a 40,000-year-old ice core, Yeva finds a tiny, geometrically perfect structure. There's no way it's natural. Something artificial was right here in our solar system back when our ancestors were still painting on cave walls.
Okay, so this is where the real problem starts. The characters pretty quickly figure out that their equipment isn't the issue, it's their own way of thinking. Their scientific categories are the problem. Science, at its core, is about understanding the filters you see the world through. And right now, all of their filters are just completely breaking down.
So how do scientists even deal with something that just shouldn't exist? Well, they have a process, a checklist. First, you check your gear. Is it just an instrument error? Okay, no. Second, did we get it wrong? Did we misclassify something we already know, like a weird kind of pulsar? Nope. Third, okay, maybe it's a totally new natural phenomenon we've never seen before. But then there's that fourth step, the one nobody wants to say out loud. Because once you say it, you can't take it back. Contact.
And Theodin Marsh, another scientist on the team, he just hits the nail on the head. He says, look, just because something is emitting a signal, that doesn't mean it's trying to communicate. To communicate, you need a shared context, right? A shared framework. Humanity has been listening for signals that look like our own technology, but what if we don't even have the right category for what's actually out there?
And then, the whole game changes with the arrival of Dr. Morin Salt. She's a xenolinguist. I mean, her whole job is specializing in alien languages. Think about that. She spent her entire career preparing for something that has never, ever happened. And she's not there to analyze radio waves. She's there to analyze a mind.
Just think about this timeline for a second. The structure was left behind 40,000 years ago. The signal started now. Why? Why the enormous gap? What could possibly have changed? Well, the answer is both simple and absolutely profound. We did. Humanity finally made it out to the outer solar system. We set up our little outposts, and we sat still long enough to finally be noticed.
And this is Dr. Salt's huge paradigm-shattering insight. She looks at how the signal is getting more and more complex, and she has this light bulb moment. It's not a statement. It's not a, hello, we are here. She realizes it's the linguistic shift a mind makes when it forms a question because it needs an answer it can't figure out on its own.
And this is the question. It's not about our technology, or our biology, or where we are in the galaxy. It is the most fundamental question one mind can possibly ask another. Are you self-aware? Are you the kind of thing that knows it exists? It's a test, the ultimate threshold for making contact.
Okay, so how do you even begin to answer a question like that? You can't just beam back yes. That's just a declaration. It's not proof. Any complex computer could fake that. No, the challenge for humanity now is to demonstrate self-awareness, to show what it's actually like to know that you exist. The answer, which Yeva puts together, becomes this document called 40,000 Years of Trying to Say So. And it's not full of star charts and physics equations. No, it's got analyses of our earliest cave art, ancient epics about grief and loss, the very first recorded joke, it's a Sumerian one about incongruity, believe it or not, and personal logs about the feeling of discovery. It's a portfolio of what consciousness does.
So the answer isn't about technology, it's about experience. It's not about objective facts, it's about the subjective feeling of being alive. Humanity essentially submits a grand thesis on what it feels like to be us. A demonstration from a species that's still surprised by its own existence, and has been trying to record that surprise ever since.
And then, the reply comes back, and with it comes a revelation that doesn't just reframe the last few weeks. It reframes the entire history of life on Earth. The idea is so simple and so staggering. We have been read since the very beginning. 600 million years. That's not a typo. That's how long they have been present, right here in our solar system. That number is so huge it almost doesn't mean anything. This is before the Cambrian explosion, before animals even walked on land, before the dinosaurs. They were here.
So you see, that 40,000-year-old artifact, that wasn't a hello, it was a bookmark. It was placed at the exact moment that something on planet Earth started doing something totally new, something that mattered, creating symbols. The moment the universe, through us, started to represent itself. And they noticed. So here it is. This is the true scale of things. Our entire 40,000-year history of art and writing and science, it's just the final little tick mark on a 600 million year long observation log. We weren't some mystery they just found. We were a story they have been following for eons.
And this might be the most profound idea they share. From their perspective, consciousness isn't some random evolutionary fluke. It's the moment a system becomes complex enough to look at itself and the cosmos and just be astonished by what it sees. It's precious, and it is incredibly rare. And if that's true, it means our brief little flicker of awareness isn't just important to us, it's important to the universe itself.
Which leaves us with this final thought. If every poem, every painting, every scientific paper, every private journal entry has been part of one single 40,000-year-long answer to the question, are you the kind of thing that knows it exists? What does our collective answer truly say about who we are?